There's a book I'd like to recommend. I read it when I was 16 years old, and it's called The Teachings of Don Juan, written by Carlos Castaneda, who at the time was a student in university studying about different herbs and plants, and he was told about this mystic old guy that lives in the desert of Sonora called Don Juan. And he searched for him and found him and asked him to teach. And the old man was kind of weird, and at a certain point he made him use peyote. And Don Juan describes this whole opening up of his perception. And it goes on. There's the teachings of Don Juan, then there's the book called Separate Reality and A Journey to Ixtalan. And there's about 10 books that came out. And then some of the other students of Don Juan also wrote books about the more feminine aspect of the journey. But there's an interesting thing. On the way, there's a certain point where Don Juan says to Carlos, he says to him, you know, I gave you this shortcut here, but now don't use it anymore. Now I want you to do the work and actually develop the abilities so you can actually leave your body at will and do astral traveling and be able to connect and see the unseen worlds without the use of chemicals or shortcuts. And I remember actually doing these like experiments of how can I leave the body and how can I see the unseen, and always going back to these books just to feel like I'm in the shadow of this influence. So Teachings of Don Juan by Carlos Castaneda. And if it catches you, tell me in the comments.